Hi everyone, this is October and it's breast cancer month. So please guys, go and do your mammogram. Screen. It's not for ladies only. Males are also advised to do that. Today our pillow talk is about challenges of a single parent. My name is Bapumzile and I reside in the United Kingdom, and I come from Eswatini. So please like, share, subscribe and comment down below. Let's have a debate about this. Anyway, without a waste of time, let's plunge into the material as usual. You know, as a person, we are born, a person is born, you grow up, you meet somebody, you get married, you plan how many children you want to have. It could be 5, it could be 1, it could be 2, both of you. And then tragedy strikes. Either you lose your spouse through death, or through divorce, or maybe you've been unfortunate that you couldn't get that partner who is ready to be a parent and who doesn't feel or didn't want to commit at that time. And then suddenly you find yourself alone, and you have to go through this journey on your own, try to raise your children to become good citizens of tomorrow. It is hard. It's a very overwhelming and very stressful journey. It's a journey that's supposed to be carried by 2 people, but unfortunately you find yourself having to do it alone. Financial support. Remember, you've been combining your salaries. Suddenly, you're left on your own. So single parenting, it's a huge responsibility. And as a single parent, we are trying hard to provide enough for your children. And we are trying hard to try and let your children be like other children, especially of those who are still together. And sometimes you find yourself, you go to an extent of even spoiling your children, providing a lot. And sometimes you find that you cannot even afford. And it brings guilt to yourself that you brought these children to earth, but you cannot afford to look after them. It is a very, very stressful situation. And you find yourself overworking yourself, having to work hard in order to produce 2 salaries, in order to keep food on the table for your children. Single parenting is not easy. Remember, you have to, this is a role of 2 people. It is not easy, especially if maybe you're a woman, to bring up boys. And it is not easy as well as a man to bring up boys, to bring up girls. So it becomes a very difficult situation. You are lucky if maybe you've got brothers and sisters who take part and become mentors to your children. Or it could be a friend that maybe you can be a mentor to your children, because children might not ventilate to you even in their problems, peer pressure problems. They might not ventilate to you, but if you are blessed or lucky, they might ventilate to your brother or to your sister, and then you get to know what's going on in their minds. It is quite a very difficult situation and very stressful, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know what's going on at home. But when they come to you, sometimes they don't want to overload you with their problems. They think mommy is doing too much, it's too much for her. So they ended up just hiding, keeping things within themselves. But if you've got someone in the family whom they can ventilate and talk to, try and encourage that. Don't feel that, oh, maybe that person is taking your position. No, that person is not taking your position, but it is helping a lot. So it is important that also you try and let your children ventilate to your friends, because especially if it's not from your family, they ventilate better than the one who's from the family, because the one who's maybe your sister will behave like you and really be a mom. It is not easy to discipline children on your own, because there's no one to back you up. And yet when we are two, life becomes, because you can discuss these things and come and talk to your children. But when you're on your own, it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. And you can't discipline them too much, because you are their father, we are their mother, we are both. And yet sometimes when both parents are there, the mother will say, oh no, that's too harsh. Or the father will say, that's too much. But when you're on your own, you don't even know the levels. And sometimes you find them that these children, they get spoiled because you don't have limits of your discipline. As a single parent, your priorities, they change, unfortunately. Your feelings, your emotional well-being becomes last in the list. They go to the bottom of your list. Your children come first. You try, or your finances, you spend most of your money educating this child. You educate your children because you want them to be able to look after themselves. And unfortunately, sometimes children don't have the views that you have for them, and the hopes that maybe you wanted your child to go to university and become somebody. With that child, you find that he's got his own mind, he's got his own ideas to deal with. So it becomes difficult, because you find some of us, especially our age group, still believe that a child has to go to university, study, and become somebody. The children of today, they make it sometimes without even that university degree, and it becomes impossible to understand with us, and it brings up problems in the house. Balancing work and looking after children is very hard, and it's a very, very stressful experience. Doing school runs alone, come back, you have to do homeworks, you have to do your work, you have to perform even at work. It is not easy to manage. So you find yourself working hard. In the morning, we are stressed at home, you are stressed at work, because we are trying to balance all these things. Sometimes it becomes impossible, but you just have to get on with it, whether you like it or not. It is not easy. It's a very, very stressful journey. Lack of social support. Single parents, you find that they are lonely and they feel isolated, because most of the time they have to look after the children. They cannot do adult things. They are most of the time at home, and they cannot be with their friends. And Friends want fun. You also want fun, but you can't because you have to look after the children alone, unfortunately. You know, single parents, especially with this loneliness, it's an emotional challenge. Remember, they have to deal with these problems, especially of children, alone. Nobody to support them, no partner. We are just on your own with your children. It is quite difficult and painful. But unfortunately, we've got these children to bring up. So your life is just stagnant until they grow up and become independent. It is quite hard. The parents have to try and stay strong, put their needs aside, and try and keep that brave face. Hide from the children the problems of the house that she or he is facing alone. Because we are trying to preserve your children so that they can think, oh, everything, all is well, and try and move on with their lives so that when they're at school, they don't think that, oh, mommy is having a problem, oh, daddy is having problems at home, just to focus in school, because that's what we teach them, to focus in school. It is hard, but we have to keep on doing them and remain strong. But what I know is that anything that doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Some single parents may come from an abusive relationship where maybe there was domestic violence, and it is hard for that woman or for that man or for that matter, and you find that they have to deal with this psychological trauma on their own, and they have to try and hide from the children what they've been going through. And you know what? Children, they've been watching, they watch everything that parents do, and you think that maybe they didn't see anything. Everything is recorded in their minds. They see their father beating their mother. They know. Or the mother shouting at their father. They know. They can see and they can tell. And these are things which you go through and you try and behave like, now that maybe the father or the mother is not there, things are okay, things will be fine. But in their minds, something is brewing. That abusive relationship keeps on sitting in their minds, and it stays there. God knows what comes out of it. You know the fruits that tree will bear. That's how sometimes you find yourself having narcissistic children, and you wonder what happened to this guy. It is from childhood. Something went wrong from there. So those are the things single parents have to deal with. Try and cover up, try and mend for the sake of those children's mental state, especially when they grow older, because it will come out when they are older. As a single parent, they are always judged. Any decision you make, people will say, oh, she's doing this because she's on her own. She's doing her own things. She's her own boss. You know, you have no choice. And nobody's helping you to raise these children or in whatever way. But people keep on judging you left and right. Society judges you. And people come with their own advice. They give you this. They tell you this. They don't even know what's going on behind the scenes. Sometimes they don't even know if you can afford to deal with whatever that you are facing with. But people go on and on and on trying to advise you about how to raise your children. Yes, advice is important, but sometimes situations are different. As a single parent, even little things such as looking after the children, alternating with somebody, alternating with your partner, it's impossible for you because nobody will help you look after those children. So it takes a toll on you, and you can't even do adult things. You can't be with your friends. it is very difficult because most of the time you have to be with your children. It's even worse if they're still babies or young. It's better when they're becoming teenagers, but even if when they're teenagers, they are still worried on your own. Nobody's going to help you. On your own, you keep on calling them, phoning them. Where are they? You want to find out. Where, on your own. But when you're with the father, maybe the father will just drive around and check if they're somewhere, if they haven't come back or home. It is quite a difficult situation that you find yourself in. Even little things such as you can't leave your phone on silence. You can't even switch it off, because you know that if anything happens to your children, you need to be found. You need to respond, because you are everything to them. Everything depends on you. They solely depend on you. So you definitely have to keep it. You can't be like people coming from work, or people who are working night, and then you sleep and then you switch it on. You switch it off and sleep. You can't, because anytime you get a call from school telling you that you're needed for your child, they can't even say, okay, maybe call the father. You don't have that father. There's no father. It's just you. You're the father and the mother. It is quite a very difficult situation. I respect those mothers and fathers who look after their children on their own. It's hard. It's a very, very painful and long journey. I hope I have enlightened some people out there to think more about family, what it means, and the importance of staying together for your children. It is a hard journey to bring up a child on your own. It's a struggle. It's difficult. And you have to continue to pretend and behave like all is well when all is not well. Whether you are a woman or a man, a father or a mother, or a teenager for that matter, you find yourself having teenage pregnancy, it is hard. Please respect them. If you see them walking with those children, doing whatever, trying their best, it is not easy. It is very stressful. But with God's will, God will always walk with you by your side, and those children will grow. And I hope they will realize how difficult it was for their mothers and fathers to bring them up, and try and wipe those tears and mend as much as they can. If the mother couldn't afford, it's not because she wanted to, or the father couldn't afford. It's not that he didn't want to. It was just impossible. It is easier when we are two. This is a role. Bringing up a child is a role of two people. Bringing a child with love, with care, and everything. If you have any topics that you would like us to talk about, you can just comment down below. Let's talk about this. It's important that we debate these things, we talk about these things, because they are there. It's real, it's life. So even the young ones who are growing, they must know there's such things and how to deal with them. It's important. So I would like some comments about this topic, because it's there, it's happening. Almost in everybody's house. Any homestead out there is a single mother or a single father. God bless.